Welcome to another episode of Out from the Horror Box. I'm your nostalgic host, Dom, and in this episode, we take a look at the 2024 psychological horror drama film written and directed by Jane Schoenbrunn. I Saw the TV Glow. Teenager Owen is just trying to make it through life in the suburbs when his classmate introduces him to a mysterious late-night TV show, one which conveys a vision of a supernatural world beneath their own. In the pale glow of the television, Owen's view of reality begins to crack. Let's try to piece together our past in I Saw the TV Glow. Jane Schoenbrunn began writing the script for I Saw the TV Glow during a deeply transformative period in their life. Just 3 months after starting hormone replacement therapy, and amid the emotional turbulence of coming out as transgender, rather than crafting a literal narrative about transitioning, Schoenbrunn approached the story as an allegory, using the haunting tale of Owen and Maddie's obsession with a surreal TV show to explore themes of identity, dysphoria, and the search for self. This metaphorical lens allowed the film to resonate beyond explicit representation, distinguishing it from a more direct coming-out narrative while still capturing the visceral experience of queer alienation. The script's unique power quickly drew attention. In 2021, Emma Stone and her husband, Dave McCary, discovered the project and were immediately captivated. Schoenbrunn recalled that the pair fell in love with the script immediately, becoming key champions for its realization. After being shopped to 6 potential production partners, the film found its home at A24 in October 2021, with Schoenbrunn attached to direct and Stone and McCary producing under their Fruit Tree banner. The indie studio's reputation for bold, auteur-driven storytelling made it a perfect match for Schoenbrunn's singular vision. By August 2022, the film had assembled a striking ensemble cast, blending rising stars and cult favorites. Justice Smith and Bridget Lundy Payne, later revealed as the lead, though initially unlisted, were joined by a roster including Helena Howard from The Wilds, Danielle Deadwyler from Till, indie musician Phoebe Bridgers, Limp Bizkit's Fred Durst, and 90s nostalgia staple Danny Tamborelli from The Adventures of Pete and Pete. This eccentric mix mirrored the film's themes, bridging generations and subcultures, much like the fictional Pink Opaque at its center. Principal photography unfolded over a tightly scheduled shoot in New Jersey during July and August 2022. Locations like Verona High School and Cedar Grove High School provided the perfect backdrop for the story's suburban surrealism, while Keensburg Amusement Park, a slightly faded, neon-lit relic, added to the film's eerie, nostalgic atmosphere. Key scenes were also filmed at the Saint, a beloved Ashbury Park music venue, and Camp Lewis, a wooded retreat that underscored the story's liminal spaces. Schoenbrunn's direction leaned into these settings, transforming mundane American landscapes into something uncanny, where the boundaries between TV fantasy and painful reality blurred. Premiering at Sundance 2024 to critical acclaim, I Saw the TV Glow has been hailed as the definitive Gen X millennial nightmare by The Guardian and a trans horror masterpiece from IndieWire. More than an homage to 90s cult TV like Buffy the Vampire Slayer or Are You Afraid of the Dark, it subverts nostalgia to expose its darker undercurrents. How the media we love can become prisons, and how identity itself might be the most terrifying mystery of all. From its deeply personal origins to its collaborative execution, I Saw the TV Glow became a testament to Schoenbrunn's ability to channel intimate experience into universal metaphor, and to the power of visionary producers and performers who recognize his potential. The result is a film that feels both intensely specific and expansively relatable. A midnight hour fable for anyone who's ever lost themselves in a screen, searching for a reflection that they couldn't find in the world around them. And with that, let's enter the pink opaque in I Saw the TV Glow.
I know this might sound crazy. I don't want to alarm you. Do you remember a TV show we used to watch together? It was called...
The Pink Opaque?
Yeah. Do you watch? Each episode, they help each other fight a new monster from across the county. But it's way too scary for most kids.
We're gonna defeat him this time. We're gonna need to harness the full potential of our shared powers.
Sometimes the pink opaque feels more real than real life.
Maddie, it was a TV show.
Are you sure that's all it was? I like girls, you know that, right?
Totally, that's fine.
What about you? Do you like girls?
I think that I like TV shows.
It's our destiny.
How can I have a destiny?
Something's wrong. This isn't how life is supposed to feel. Tell me you know it's true.
Maddie, it's just the suburbs.
Seems like you're always somewhere else lately.
Maddie disappeared without a trace. All they found was her TV set burning in the backyard. I told myself I made the right choice. What if I really was someone else? Very far away on the other side of a television screen.
In the summer of 1996, two lonely teenagers, Owen, a quiet asthmatic, played by Justice Smith, and Maddie, an intense imaginative girl, played by Jack Haven, credited as Bridget Lundy Payne, formed an obsessive bond over The Pink Opaque, a surreal young adult TV show about psychic twins Isabel and Tara battling the reality-warping villain Mr. Melancholy. They are played by Helena Howard, Lindsay Jordan, and Emma Portner, respectively. The show aired past Owen's strict bedtime, so he would sneak out to Maddie's house, where they'd huddle close to her small TV, immersed in the show's hypnotic mythology. Maddie meticulously recorded each episode on VHS tapes for Owen. She'd often whisper that the Pink Opaque felt truer than their own lives, as if it were a transmission from some deeper reality. 2 years later, during one of their viewings, Maddie suddenly burst into uncontrollable sobs. Later, she confessed that she had decided to run away and assumed Owen would join her. But when the moment came, he froze, watching helplessly as she vanished into the night. Soon after, his mother, played by Danielle Deadweiler, succumbed to cancer. Maddie was declared missing, and The Pink Opaque was abruptly canceled, leaving the 5th season finale unresolved. By 2006, Owen was still living with his distant father, Frank, played by Fred Durst, working a dead-end job at a decaying local movie theater. Then, one evening, Maddie reappeared, older, stranger, her eyes alight with manic certainty. She took him to a dimly lit bar, insisting it was the only place they could speak safely. When Owen begged her to go to the police, she ignored him, instead interrogating him about the Pink Opaque, claiming she had spent the last 8 years inside the show. Skeptical but unsettled, Owen revisited the final episode, where Mr. Melancholy trapped Isabel and Tara in the Midnight Realm, a pocket universe eerily resembling the real world, before his minions buried them alive. The screen cut to black mid-scene. Owen, overcome with a nameless terror, lunges at the TV, screaming, until Frank drags him away. The next night, Maddie revealed the truth. After running away, she had paid a stranger to bury her. When she awoke, she was Tara, and their real lives were just fabricated memories. Owen, she insisted, was Isabel, and this world was the Midnight Realm. Desperate to return, she leads him to a moonlit football field, shovel in hand, urging him to let her bury him. At the last second, he recoiled, fleeing into the night. He never saw her again, but her words festered in his mind like a virus. In 2010, Frank died of a stroke, and the movie theater closed, forcing Owen to transfer to a garish family entertainment center. One night, he streamed The Pink Opaque, only to find it cheap, childish, and wrong. The actors unfamiliar, the plot nonsensical. Owen thinks, had it always been this way? Over the years, his asthma worsened alongside his depression, each breath a struggle against an invisible weight. Then in 2030, during a child's shrieking birthday party at work, Owen clutches his chest, gasping, "I'm dying. Help me." The room ignored him. Locking himself in a bathroom, he slits his chest open with a box cutter and smiled at what he found inside. A flickering TV screen playing The Pink Opaque. Emerging, he mumbled apologies to the bewildered guests before the screen dissolved into blackness. Now let us move on to some trivia about the film I Saw the TV Glow, and learn some things about the behind the scenes, the production, and the actors. Just like the rest of the film, the Pink Opaque segments that appear throughout the film were also shot in 35mm, but later transferred to both VHS and Betamax in post-production to create the show's different period-specific degradations. And honestly, I think it looks the part. I mean, it looks like, growing up in the 90s, it looks the part of like some show you would see, like a Power Rangers or an Erie, Indiana, or like a Are You Afraid of the Dark? Something it gives you that same vibe that like something was shot on like VHS, something that wasn't like, it was just made to really quick for kids. And like I'm gonna say right now, this movie does hit for like if you're kind of like looking for something about like nostalgia, like this kind of like will bring you back to certain things, and I think it does it in such a way like that, like obviously they had an idea of what like this needed to look like, and they got that down right. Like they got it down looking exactly like the television from back then. The Pink Opaque was originally a placeholder title named after the Cocteau, I don't know, I'm probably mispronouncing that, Cocteau Twins compilation album, but writer-director Jane Schoenbrunn could not come up with a better title for the fictional TV show and kept it. And honestly, I thought they would have, I thought that they might have come up with it themselves, but like the fact that they got it from an album is pretty cool. I like that, and honestly, Pink Opaque is a great title. I think it's a really good title. I mean, obviously it's a title of an album, but I think for the show within this TV or within this movie, I think it works really well. Pink Opaque sounds like something that like it sounds a little ridiculous, but I feel like it's something that could have come up like from the 90s, something out from that time. Not exactly, but hey, like we had some weird titles for some shows. like Erie, Indiana, or like like Salute Your Shorts, or like Clarissa Explains It All. I don't think that's a weird title, but like I feel like it fits along the lines of like Pink Opaque. I don't know. Maybe that's me. Canadian dancer and choreographer Emma Portner plays 4 different roles in the film, 3 of them being villains in the Pink Opaque. She played Marco, the evil clown, and Mr. Melancholy. The only non-Pink Opaque character she plays is Amanda, which is Maddie's friend who originally began watching the Pink Opaque with her until they stopped being friends. Maddie later says, I feel like she's a secret agent sent here to make my life miserable. After bringing up how their friendship fell apart, the fact that she plays most of the villains in the Pink Opaque adds to that, right? I feel like the fact that like, well, I think in the movie they make it more explicit that obviously Maddie liked her and thought that they could be more than friends, and Amanda Amanda was not feeling that. And especially in the 90s, like a lot of times like these Gen X and alphas don't realize that like it was very homophobic back then in the 90s. It wasn't until like, I mean, even now it's still not like perfect, but I mean it was, I would say maybe until like the 2010s is when things started getting like a little bit better. But in the 90s, early 2000s, like we used to say gay as like that's something bad or as something stupid or something dumb. And yeah, like I mean the fact that like at this time also it was what Don't Ask Don't Tell was still around, and like for her to like express that to her, especially in like who knows where, I think, do they say where it's set? I don't remember if they do say that, but in like a small town like in like the middle of America, it was not a good thing to expose yourself like that, like unless you knew like that the people around you were safe. Because like I mean we had like in what was it 99 to the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, there was a kid named Matthew Shepard. I think that's his name. I think that was his name. I'm sorry if I'm not remembering it right. But he was killed for being gay, and he was strung up and like tied to a fence post and stuff, and like that was a big national thing, and like it depending on who you told like that you liked, or like if you said you were gay around, like they or like, and remember like there's still trans people still exist back then. It's not anything like even that like could get you killed in America back then. It's taken a long time for like some of the stuff to get better, and sometimes it doesn't get better. It just gets worse because there's people who are just horrible humans. Regarding the ending, Justice Smith revealed on an interview that there was more footage filmed after the moment the camera cuts to black, and Owen is apologizing. Said footage painted a happier ending because it showed the character walking a little longer until embracing a bright light, signaling a moment of finally starting to admit their inner truth. But the director decided to cut sooner to make the point less firm, and I think it works for the best because the ambiguity of it just kind of goes to like the sadness of that, like people like born at a certain time are told to repress themselves, and especially in the 90s, like moving on from that same point that I was talking about with the last thing, like a lot of people were told to like repress themselves. They were gay conversion camps. There were like people who were like, oh, I could just pray the gay away type of thing, and it's just like it's really sad when like you can't just be the person that you are know you are inside on the outside, because there's people, because I mean, you think these people are your friends, you think these people like will love you, but then they just turn around and they spit in your face, and they don't want to have anything to do with you as soon as you show who you are inside. And it's really sad, and it's just like diabolical and despicable. And I'm glad that like we're moving on from that, but like now we're turning away from that. We were on such a good path, and I hate that. Like, I know that most Americans aren't like that, but there's just this small local few that's just like, I don't know what happened to them. Something broke inside them, and they have no empathy, no sympathy, no kind of like, hey, maybe I should just kind of, be in their shoes for a few minutes. And it's like, nope, they can't be happy. They can't ever feel comfortable. They can't ever be the person that they want to be, because I hate it. And it's just horrible, despicable. And I'm glad that the director Jane Schoenbrunn decided to cut, because I don't think we needed anything beyond that. I think you can get that from this. You can create an ending for yourself after that scene. And it's like, I think it's a poignant scene for him to be screaming, for him to cut himself open, to go back out there, and then for it to cut to black. And that's what we get, because sometimes that's how life is. It's just unfair. It's just an ending. It's just a cut to black for some of us. So, separate from trivia and all that and the production, I did want to talk about the themes of the film, because like there is a big theme to this film. Like Jane Schoenbrunn, they themselves, it kind of baked into and made this film as a way to deal with, like I had talked about earlier in the episode, like to deal with like their feelings of coming out as trans and starting to have to deal with like that in their life. And actor Jack Haven, and also along with Jane Schoenbrunn, have described I Saw the TV Glow as a powerful allegory for the transgender experience. Schoenbrunn specifically frames the film around the concept of the egg crack, that pivotal moment when a trans person realizes their true gender identity. Owen's refusal to bury himself alive with Maddie, followed by his existential crisis, mirrors Schoenbrunn's own fears about potentially living an unauthentic life without transitioning. In a June 2024 New Yorker profile, Schoenbrunn elaborated on how family dynamics shaped the film. TV Glow captures something many trans people understand: the tension between the comfort of familiar spaces and the terrifying liberation of realizing those spaces may never accommodate your true self. There's this cultural expectation of reconciliation with biological family, but that ignores queer people who don't have control over whether that healing is possible. And that's a quote straight from Schoenbrunn. People in the LGBTQIA community, queer people, trans people, they don't have sometimes the luxury of falling back on to their family for not just comfort, but also of like the support that they need. Sometimes, they're kicked out of their houses. They're told their lifestyle is wrong. They're told they're not gonna accommodate for whatever way that they want to be, or how they know that they are, or how they know that they feel. They don't validate any of that, and it's harmful. And that's why they build their own families, they build their own communities, and it's just horrible that we as a society don't foster that. Like we don't we like to think of ourselves as like neighborly, and we build communities, and it's all about like how the neighbors and everything are going to see you and everything, and sometimes that falls flat for some people. But the good thing is we're seeing now like communities come out to support people, and I think most of it is we've moved from that. We are in the year 2025, and I feel like there's some people who still think it's like the early 2000s, and they're still stuck in this mindset. And it's like, no, most of us have moved on. Most of us have moved on from these issues that you guys keep bringing up, that you guys keep trying to shove into our faces, and we're not going to deal with it anymore. And I think there's going to become a reconciliation for that, and maybe we'll be able to finally move on from this exhaustive trying to, shout down one another, and finally accept, like, hey, maybe we should have empathy for every single person. And then the film also draws deep inspiration from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, with the pink opaque serving as a Buffy-like refuge for Owen, complete with strong female leads and mythic storytelling. This parallel becomes especially poignant with Amber Benson's Buffy's Tara cameo, which Schoenbrunn described as healing, having relied on the show as a coping mechanism in their youth. However, the pink opaque diverges by airing on a child's network and incorporating the magical realism of the adventures of Pete and Pete, underscored by casting that show's stars Danny Tamborelli and Michael Morana as ghostly neighbors. Schoenbrunn emphasizes these casting choices aren't more nostalgia bait, but thematic reinforcements. Like Pete and Pete, the pink opaque explores children navigating the semi-magical, frequently scary world invisible to adults. As Owen becomes lost in the show, his journey reflects what happens when transitioning seems too terrifying to confront directly, with Owen and Maddie representing pre- and post-realization stages of identity. The film also channels Schoenbrunn's reoccurring dream about Twin Peaks' ending, aiming for Lynchian terror, while exploring how TV finales and revivals, a la Twin Peaks: The Return, parallel personal transformation. Ultimately, Owen's story culminates in that devastating moment when the world ignores his screams that something inside him is dying, underscoring how art's borrowed magic might be our only lifeline, and that, as the film's haunting refrain insists, there is still time. Schoenbrunn recounted in a 2024 interview with Rue Morgue about a striking encounter with a viewer who fundamentally misinterpreted their film. After a screening, an intoxicated audience member approached them declaring, "I feel like this is a film about how suicide is the answer." Schoenbrunn responded by clarifying, "No, actually, if you're trapped in a TV, held in a dimension created by a man in the moon, checking whether there's TV static inside you might be a necessary act of self-discovery. That's profoundly different from advocating suicide." Reflecting on the incident, Schoenbrunn admitted they generally avoid outright dismissing interpretations, but felt compelled in this case. They recalled witnessing a similar situation during a screening of Michael Haneke's Funny Games, where an audience member claimed the film argued against gun control. Haneke had famously retorted that this was perhaps the worst possible misinterpretation of his work. While Schoenbrunn strives not to adopt such a definitive tone, they acknowledge that there are moments where correcting fundamental misreadings becomes necessary. This exchange highlights the challenges filmmakers face when audiences project radically different meanings onto their work, particularly when those interpretations could be dangerously misleading. Schoenbrunn's measured response demonstrates their thoughtful approach to audience engagement while maintaining the integrity of their artistic vision. And I wholeheartedly agree that, I don't understand, when, in this case, they were right to like let you interpret it however you want, but in this one case where it's something like advocating for suicide, that's not the point of this. That's not the point. Like, these people shouldn't have to feel like suicide is the answer because they happen to live a lifestyle that you deem different, just because to you don't understand it, but to other people we completely get it and we completely understand it and we're completely supportive. Just because you're like, that's the answer the whole time, because like they can't be running around making me like get all like turned on because I shouldn't feel like I should like them. Oh, it's ridiculous. Because that's mainly, I feel like that's probably the reason why they don't like trans. It's mainly trans women. They usually ignore trans men. Um, I think we should just move on to my final thoughts. So now we come to the part where we get into my final thoughts on the film. I Saw the TV Glow. This movie, when I first saw it, I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought the imagery and the production design and the concept is, at first when I first saw like a trailer and I saw and I thought it was going to be something completely different, and it was going to be more about like nostalgia and how nostalgia is bad and how like we can get trapped in the past and this and that. But it's a beautiful film. Like, going back to the point, I don't think I finished it. Sorry. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's well put together. God, there's so much I could say. The lighting is amazing in points, and it's just a beautiful, at times very like, God, just like, it's like a dream come to life. And I love when like movies and films can create that like hypnagogic kind of like feel, and you're very immersed in it, and it's just like, what is life? And the narration, Justice Smith does a great job with just like, even just reading those lines, like you feel for him at points, and you feel for even Jack Haven as Maddie. You can feel the torment inside of her, like when he meets her later on the at school, when they're just eating like lunch or like sitting in the bleachers or whatever, and you can just feel like this pain that's inside of her, or well, them, and this movie is it's so well put together. It's just so good. And like the costume design is amazing. Just the overall story, this theme of, this person who can't come to accept themselves, because in doing so they'd have to, talk to their parents about it. He'd have to tell his dad. And then the only support that he ever got was from his mom, and I think she saw it in him that like, well, that he wasn't that he was Isabel. That that Owen is not Owen. Owen is Isabel, and that she wants to be free this whole time, but like we see it like with Frank, Fred Durst's character, his dad. He's just like this controlling, like the mom says, like, oh, you gotta ask your dad about that. You gotta talk to your dad about it. But then even when he's gone, like it's just like this looming threat, and not threat, but like ghost, like a pink, like an opaque, just hovering above him that still makes him in his mind, and he even like, what's it called, pushes that away in his mind, and like even thinking about like when the like we get these like scenes, these kind of flashes of him, dressed in like in a dress, and like he's like finally like smiling, and he's happy, and these it's like a fleeting thing. It's like he's suppressing it so much that like it's like what do you call it when your mind like just blocks out like that memory. Like she like when Maddie comes back, she says like, don't you remember, what you did, and like when we watched those, and it's like it was him trying to explore himself, and he doesn't remember it like that. He remembers just the show, and even the show, like it just makes me feel like, and it gives me like this like nostalgia, and it's like I I look back, and you remember the shows that you watched, and like that's what it makes me feel like that, like when I was younger, and like you're watching like Adventures of P and P, right? Adventures of P and P. I remember my brother watching that. That's like one of his favorite shows from back then. Besides like Salute Your Shores, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Snick was like we loved watching Snick, all of that, and like yeah, I like it just. I just got an instant like nostalgia for this time, and like, and that is part of like a theme, and like part of the film is this trap of nostalgia of like, yeah, we can remember things, and like I remember like one thing that it reminds me of too is like Power Rangers, and like I remember growing up, and because Power Rangers was when I was like 4 or 5, right, and I remember all these things, and then yeah, you look back and it's like, oh man, look how cheesy that was, look how, and but you remember it like so well, and you remember like these things and these glimpses of these things, and like just flashes of things, and you're like, was that real, was it not, was that a dream, was it something I came up with, and it's just this kind of flowy uncertainty, and I feel like that they captured that so well, they captured it so well in this film, and just like that feeling too, I feel like of this poor human being who he feels like he can't ever be himself because of what society says, of what everyone else thinks. And, finally, in the end, he's able to see what's inside of himself. But like I was rewatching the ending right before this, and it's just so sad when he's just screaming, like that he's dying, because like he just can't be who he's supposed to be. And this God, Jane Schumburn, like I need to watch more of their films. I know they're coming out with another one soon. But they had one. We all go to the World Fair or something. I want to watch that and see how it is, because this one is just so good. I give it 4 stars. It gives me like, I don't know, like it's so sad, and so like just it gives me these feelings of like I know what they mean, like I can sympathize and empathize. I I don't know, just I love this movie so much. It's so well put together. It's just it's beautiful in everything. It's haunting at times too. It's like a nightmare at times, and you're kind of feeling like, wow, it's like trapped. There's anything too despicable or diabolical or slashery or anything like that, but it is horrifying. Like it is suffocating. Like, you just wish like these people could be them, be themselves, like be out to who they want to be and who they need to be. And sometimes in real life that doesn't happen. But we do get movies like this where people take that horrible feelings that they have or the thoughts that they're thinking, and they put it into a form of a medium and a movie that we can see and we can watch and we can feel. And that's why it's also like it's art, but it's entertainment. Movies are this is why I love movies. What shows make you feel nostalgic? Have you went back and noticed things that you liked weren't what they seemed? Have you seen the TV Glow? That didn't happen for me, but I'd love to hear your experience. We want to thank you all for listening, and if you like what you hear, please subscribe to get every new episode downloaded. Do you have any personal or fictional, paranormal, supernatural, or unexplainable stories? We'd love to read them on the podcast. Please send your stories, recommendations, or anything else to horrorboxpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to show more support, you can follow our socials on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, or check out our YouTube channel, all at HorrorBoxPodcast on all sites. Also, you can buy me a coffee at coffee.com/HorrorBoxPodcast. It really helps out. Until next time, embrace yourself, no matter what. This is Dom, signing off from the Horror Box.
Let's go again from the top one more time. Happy birthday to you, Master. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Charlie. Happy birthday. You need to help me! I'm dying right now! Sorry, ignore me.